My name is Rose Hermann. My husband Charles and I arrived in Springfield, Illinois in 1855 from Germany. We wanted to escape the German Revolution, along with many others that arrived in America at the time. My husband Charles was a weaver, and I a housekeeper. And my husband was so proud of the fact that he saw Abraham Lincoln wearing a suit made out of the jean cloth that he had woven right here in a rally in May of 1860 when he was running for President of the United States. And when he's proud, oh, I'm proud too. Do you ever happen to have a memory that is etched in your heart that you will never forget where you were, how you felt when it happened? I sure do. I'll never forget where I was on April 15th of 1865. You see, I was over at the English Evangelical Lutheran Church over there on 6th and Monroe when a messenger came running through the streets interrupting our Easter Sunday practices. He said a telegram had been received that President Abraham Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater the night before by a coward and had died at 7:22 a.m. that morning. Well, the ladies and I just stopped what we were doing and started to cry. We all knew him. He was our neighbor. He was our local politician and lawyer who settled all of our disputes. And we could not believe this was happening. Why now? The war was over. We all looked forward to peace in the land. But some people still cannot take it away in their hearts, even though it is written on a piece of paper that the war is over. Well, the people of Springfield decided that since there was no family, that we should take it upon ourselves and prepare a funeral for our neighbor, since there was no other family here in town. And we formed the Lincoln Monument Association. We proceeded to excavate a tomb on the Mather Vault, and we raised a lot of money for it. But when Mary found out about what was happening, she objected sternly, and she was already upset. Well, the people of Springfield said, Mary's too distraught. She does not understand. It is our custom to pay respects to the president on a daily basis, where we can see him right in the heart of downtown. And people getting off the train can see a great monument to our fallen president. Well, when Mary found out that we continued to excavate the vault, she sent a telegram on the 28th of April, again on the 29th, and more firmly on the 30th, saying, if you do not bury my husband in Oak Ridge, I'll have him buried either in Washington, D.C. or in Chicago. Well, that kind of got the city council's attention at that time. And we decided that Mary is right and he should be buried in Oak Ridge. But you got to understand, Mary. You see, weeks earlier in Washington, after the war was declared over, they were on a carriage ride on a peaceful day, relaxing because the war was over. And he looked at Mary and said, Mary, you are younger than I, and I'm likely to precede you. I should love to be buried in a peaceful place such as this. And Mary remembered those words. But look around you. Oak Ridge is a peaceful place. And I remember the dedication of Oak Ridge in May of 1860. The whole town was shut down, and everybody was present at the dedication ceremony. Why, even Abraham Lincoln was in that crowd. So she understood the meaning. Well, the funeral train had 9 cars, and it was a presidential train at that. And it left Washington, D.C. for Springfield, Illinois. almost the same route that it took to take him to Washington, D.C. And it passed through 444 communities. There were 14 funerals. And as the train passed through these communities, the buildings were decorated in black to show mourning and the feeling of the people in those towns. And even at nighttime, as the train traveled through, you could see bonfires near the tracks where people would be camping out and waiting for the train to come. And as the train approached, the whistle would sound and cannons would go off, warning the people that the train was approaching. And as the train approached, people would get up from their place and approach the tracks and bow as it went by. Well, the train arrived here in Springfield on May 3rd, and the body of Abraham Lincoln was taken off the train and placed onto an elaborate hearse and taken to the Capitol building where he had once served in the House of Representatives for his last and final funeral. And many people came, 75,000 I'm told, which is really significant because the population of Sangamon County was only about 15,000. They came from places I never heard of before. Why, I even opened up my front porch so that some of them could rest. Some of the people took advantage of the crowd too, and were a little dubious, if you know what I mean. Well, among those people that came through the crowd, I had to go as well, because, call me a doubter, I couldn't believe this was all happening. It was like a dream. But when I went through, I looked at the face of the man in that coffin, and I recognized him as Abraham Lincoln.